how did you create that brand identity that people were so rabid about? Because I think Hopsin, you guys did a phenomenal job with his brand as well. Like that's like
Yeah.
deep down the funnel
Yeah.
engagement with Hopsin, and then also with your brand. How did you do that?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it just starts with Hop and the
Yeah,
music
yeah,
that he makes, and just the type of content, the things that he was saying just really resonated
yeah.
with it. So I would be a fool not to acknowledge that it kind of starts with the artist
Sure.
and how they're telling their story. But I think on the label side, we just did a lot of stuff to build community. Right. So a few of those things were like one of the merch items early on was like one of the more premium merch items was you had the opportunity to get a Funk Volume jersey and like personalize it and put your name on the back. So that was one of the things. We also allowed our fans to sell our CDs like a wholesale price. So if you bought 20 CDs, you can buy 20 CDs for $2 a pop. At the time, it cost us $1, so we were still making $1 on every CD.
So smart.
And they would turn around and flip them. They would sell them for $5, $10. So they would be making more money than us on it, but we didn't care because they were spreading the music.
So smart.
And we already made $1 on each CD.
I heard you talk about that. Yeah.
So every time we sent out, I think I made them buy at least 20. I think it was at least 20.
Minimum 20.
Yeah. So we made every time we shipped out a box of 20, we made $20.
Right.
And they made, there were probably some people in certain markets selling them for 10. So they made $8 on every.
Even more.
So we sold a lot of CDs that way. But I think and then we did like a lot of competitions. We were constantly online, like replying to every comment. Creating those Facebook groups.
Yes.
Like we were just heavy online. Hop would go online. He would go live. Like at that time, it was like live stream and mini chat. Not mini chat.
Mini chat. Yeah.
Tiny chat.
Okay.
Mini chat is what we use today.
Yeah.
Tiny chat. It was someone that there was live stream. Ustream.
Yes.
Was it Ustream?
Yep.
Yeah. So we would use all those to do like weekly shows. They would freestyle live. We would just come up with different ways to engage the audience.
And who was coming up with all that strategically?
Some of it was Hop, but like a lot of it was me as well. Like the weekly little, I think we called it Funk Volume TV. But Hop would always just get on Tiny Chat and just talk with his fans.
Yeah.
Do stuff like that. So
he knew the value.
Yeah. So he just enjoyed it.
He enjoyed it.
But yeah, we started a community service initiative, Funk Volume in the community. So we do a different community service event every month. We were just active, bro. We started a contest. That's why a lot of artists became fans because we had a contest called the Don't Fuck Up Our Beats contest.
Right.
And thousands of artists would participate in it every time we did it. Yeah, we were just active.
So how would you? I know in today's day and age, I know it's not you don't have the label like that, but like, what are some of those things that an artist, an executive could do? Like, what's a similar thing to selling the 20 CDs wholesale that somebody could do today?
Yeah, I mean, for me, like, I would just really, again, have a great understanding of the story that I'm trying to tell and just have a great content strategy and be consistent with it.
Yeah.
And then whatever it is, like, whatever Ray calls them pillars, right? Like, let's just say there's an artist. What are the 5 things that you really want people to know about you? Like, so for me, if I was an artist or just the type of stuff that I post online, it's like, family oriented, a little political. I stay up on what's happening in politics. I hoop, like I enjoy basketball. I still play it. I pay attention
See that trade today?
Yeah, I see all the trades.
See all the trades?
So I pay attention to what's going on, so I might get involved with that. And then so once you have your pillars, it's like, okay, this is what the content's going to be created around so that people start to learn who I am and people start to gravitate towards it. I always use Toby Nwigwe as a good example because I followed him at probably like, I think my brother put me on to him when he was at like maybe 10,000 followers or whatever.
Wow.
And I used to see him, he had this series called his Get Twisted Sundays. where I know it's his wife now, but at the time it was just his girlfriend, Fat. And he would sit in between. He would sit in between her legs and get his hair twisted while he was spitting a verse, and he would do that every Sunday. I think I'm a big fan of artists having a branded content series that comes out on a regular basis,
Repetition.
every Monday, every Tuesday, whatever, every
Yeah.
first of the month, whatever is part of your story, right? You might have maybe being broke is part of your story, and you grew up on food stamps or welfare checks or whatever. That's a big part of your story. So you might have a content piece that comes out every first of the month because that's when the check hit when you were little. So that starts to tell that story. Maybe you got a favorite number, so maybe you drop it on the 7th because the 7th means, So to me, it all starts with the content right now.
But how do you monetize that then now?
I mean, you can get brands involved eventually. Yep. I wouldn't think about monetization. Initially, I wouldn't think about it. I would just think about growing
Building
enough
the brand equity.
interest in, building the community essentially.
Yeah.
Like LaRussell's done an amazing job. He's like
phenomenal.
Does a really good job at telling his story. But even with Toby Nwigwe, it's at a point where, I realized like, okay, he's from the Houston area, Nigerian descent, played football. I knew so much about this cat, you would think I was stalking him, or read some kind of book, but it was really just because he told his story so well consistently online. And I think, people know the same amount of stuff of LaRussell.
Right.
It's from Vallejo. It's a family operation. Got the pergola in the back. He does the shows. You know what I'm saying? You know so much about him because he's posting so much and he's consistent with the story that he's telling.
Frequency.
Yeah.
I always tell artists that as well. Like, it's like, people will think that, they're posting too much. Like, once a day is too much. I'm like, listen, there's no such thing.
Yeah.
I saw that this brand in India. So Mr. Beast was out there like a month ago or something like that, and they pulled up on him, and it was this Instagram account that's got like 20 million followers or 50 million, something like that, something outrageous. And Mr. Beast is like, how'd you get so many followers on Instagram? They said, we post 100 pieces of content a day on Instagram.
Yeah.
And it's like they got a ton of followers, so like, a bunch of them will bomb. They don't care. One will like go crazy, and that'll bring in a lot of people. Now, I'm not saying do 100 posts a day,
right?
But I'm saying if they're not getting shadow banned, what makes you think you're gonna get shadow banned if you're posting 3 times a week?
You're not gonna get, as long as you're. What I'm against is just posting to post.
Yeah, like spamming and shit.
Yeah. Or it's just you should have a good idea of what you're posting every day. You should never wake up thinking about, oh damn, I gotta post. What should I post today? You should have a plan already in place so that you know what you're posting on Monday to every day of the week.
Yeah.
So that it's purposeful posting, and it's contributes again to the story that you're telling, and it's not just some random ass thing that comes out of nowhere.
Yeah. Well, to your point, like a content series, using this as an example, I do this bi-weekly. I'm trying to get to a weekly space, right? But what I do is I'll do hour to 2, sometimes 3-hour conversation, and then I'm getting at least 14 clips minimum because I'm going bi-weekly, so I'm getting a post every single day. What I recently started doing, because I'm like, I want to get 2 more posts up a day, I started posting up this static image of just these things that I think about, right? And I kind of just workshop them, and then post that out with a little bit of a look to it, which actually my girlfriend created.
Nice.
And so I'm posting that every single day. And the funny thing is that those static posts are actually, so far, they actually get more engagement than the video content, and it's a way cheaper spend. Like,
because you're saying some real shit. I think I replied. I mean, I didn't say anything. I just kind of co-signed whatever. I forget what you said. But if you guys,
it's about the managers. Like, artists think that they want a manager until they find a good one, and a good one doesn't always say yes.
Yeah. So if you got some real shit to say that is gonna resonate with people, you can put it in a quote. I think LaRussell mixes in some quote. I think it's good on Instagram. They want you to mix up the style they want you to use all their surfaces. They want you to post pictures. They want you to use the carousel. They want you to do reels.
Yeah.
Like, they want you to mix it up.
But see, the thing is, again, to the series part of it, it's like, it's easier for me to put content out there because I'm having this long form conversation, and then now I can cut that up online, right? So if an artist is doing something that's valuable to them, it doesn't have to be a podcast. It's just, to your point, like, it could be something that they have a genuine interest in. If that piece of content is 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, even that in itself, you could clip that up.
Yeah.
15 different ways. And all of a sudden now you can, if you're posting every week, you got 15 posts for the week.
Yeah.
And that's actually, let's call it 45 posts, because you do one on Instagram, you do one on TikTok, you do one on Facebook. Don't sleep on Facebook. You do one
Right.
on YouTube. Now you got 4 posts
Yeah.
every single day across all these platforms.
You never know where things are gonna pop. I mean, it's a lot of platforms out there, but if you use, a scheduling tool like MetroCool,
I've never heard of that
it's a
tool.
lot easier to post on several different platforms at once.
Okay, I never even heard of that. I've heard of, I know Hootsuite.
Yeah, I mean, there's Hootsuite. I'm sure Sprout Social still exists.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
we use MetroCool at Two Loss, but yeah, I understand that a lot of artists hate the content stuff.
Yeah.
But like I say, in every era, there's gonna be things that you didn't want to do, right? Like back in the day, if you would have had to like do open mics, and you would have had to maybe wait downstairs and wait for the A&R person to come out of the and slang your CD or get your demo to them, or you used to have to slang CDs out of your trunk. Like if you're not doing content today, then you wouldn't have done those things back in the day. And I don't whatever the next thing's gonna be. Like there's always shit that you don't want to do that you have to do to be successful in something like me, or to be successful in anything. There's always going to be something that you don't want to do.
Yeah.
So if you're only doing the things you want to do, you're going to have access to very few careers.